we are all still human beings at heart, and everything that happens to and by us needs to be human focused. And so this year my focus has been on this theme of innovate and adapt. And these are recent statistics that come from sources such as the Society for Human Resource Management, from the World Economic Forum. And can you believe by 2030, that's up to 78 million jobs, new jobs expected. And you can bet a lot of those are going to be involving AI. For anyone who is a talent leader, look at this rapid job growth and transformation. This means that we need to be more agile in those programs, agile, scalable, and future focused. We need to be able to change on a dime, per se.
When I think about the advantages of AI and how it can support some of the loneliness components, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what's the driver? Are there drivers that are work related in the professional workspace, or are we talking about personal matters that could be driving the loneliness? And really, what's feasible for a work environment to handle? And so, where my thinking was going in, and my question was, when the needs of the individuals beyond what AI can actually handle, when we need to engage with the professional to support someone's mental health requirements, and how we ensure that there's mitigation and legal risk if something was to happen and we had an AI resource handling it when it should have already transitioned to someone with a special.
Marty also had a really great comment of the role of leadership and frontline managers as multipliers and how we can help to make change be sustainable, I think is a great comment. And then there was another one also that we scrolled past. Edward was talking about the lack of investment in tools to accommodate these changes, especially when we have a younger workforce that has a different approach to learning, whether it's study groups or online micro learning. So what can we do to reevaluate and reinvest, I think is a really great point.
If I can just add one more thing, Matt, it was based on something that you mentioned about your story. It triggered it. It's about informed policy making. And because sometimes the leaders of these organizations make decisions with what's in front of them, but I think to the point made earlier that they don't take into account the talent equation. So Jen, when you're talking about all these pieces, they don't factor that. They're looking at results, revenue, et cetera, which is important, which we want them to do. But there's a cost of implementing work from home changes, policy decisions that completely impact the machine. And yes, people are part of the machine. And I think part of our role, in addition to the wonderful list that you put out here, is to actually manage up to say, you do what you do, but here's the impact.
I have a little stick that I would use when I was working with leadership and leadership development. I would say, hey, we're going to use the F word today. We're going to talk about our feelings. And you could just feel it in the room, people's discomfort. So it's just something that always come to mind when this topic comes up, is infusing not just the psychological safety, but some skill development on what is this range of feelings we have as human beings, because it's much more than just the typical 3 to 5.
So what we're doing is we're doing all kind of rollouts for a new customer dashboard. So what I ended up doing was I was using Notebook LM, I'm using Copilot, I'm creating actual video content, creating the storybooks, sending them to external marketers, being able to turn around in short time frames. So we ended up having a training program that received a 85% relevant status, the highest I've ever had. No negative responses on whether this was relevant to doing their job. So we ended up, with a real positive approach, but heavily using all of these AI tools to go through and do all of the above approach.
Sounds amazing. So just to kind of close things out, again, these are just some of the things that we're doing inside with that focus on the end user and, what our community needs, what our partners need, and just thinking at it from that empathy perspective. And what do people need in order to change? This perspective, this mindset can be applied to any situation.
I'm really glad you're bringing up human-centered talent design, because these are just so many opportunities. So Aziz has been publishing several books. We'll put this on her bookshelf, but she's a Lean Six Sigma guru, and she is one of the best facilitators. And so she's been writing books on Lean Six Sigma. This is her latest book. She wants to bring the human back into it. So this is a trend that we should be encouraging more and more with our community.